Hey guys, what's up? This is Don and welcome to another Cinema 4D tutorial. And today I am going to be showing you how to create a cloth unroll animation using cloth dynamics in C4D. So let's get started. Alrighty then, the first thing we have to do is to create the cloth, but we need to create it already folded up so that later we can unroll it using cloth dynamics. So how do we do this? We start off with a plane, and then I will get a Bezier spline, go to either the left or right view. I'm not sure which one it is here. My labels disappeared. There's usually like a little label which tells you which view you are in, but I accidentally knocked the switch off, I guess, and I was just too lazy to ever show, well, to figure out how to bring those labels back. So who cares? Anyway, let's assume this is the right view, which I think it is. I will draw a profile of how I want my cloth to look like when it is folded from the side view. Imagine you have a flat piece of cloth and then you fold it up. What might it look like from either the left or the right side, from directly on the left side or the right side? Imagine that. It's probably nothing like what we have here, but you know, this should do for this tutorial. I'm gonna do this and draw maybe 7 different turns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 6 turns, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. Okay. So this is where we'll be starting from. I'll press T to just scale this down and squash it up a little bit. And then in the perspective view, I will go to my deformers and get a spline wrap. Put this below our plane, and then in the spline section we will drop in the spline which we just drew. This is not going to look correct right away. This is because we need to change the orientation of the plane to Z plus or positive Z, and this is the result. I think I maybe want to squash this up a little more. Not too much, just a little bit more. And we will go ahead and make this editable. So right click this, and then you want to go to current state to object. And what this would do is basically create an editable version of our setup that we had to begin with. And you may want to save your spline and your plane with the spline wrap just in case you want to go in and change how it looks. But I'm pretty happy with this, so I can, you know what, I'll leave them just in case. Okay, so now that we have our editable plane, we can see here, we can go in here and play around with the points. We don't want to do that anyway, but you can. And we can go ahead and add cloth dynamics. So right click, simulation, and then cloth. And when I hit play, you can see that the dynamics start working right away. But obviously this is not the animation that we want. So to get this to work properly, we first of all need to set some anchor points, some points along which the cloth is going to unroll from. So if I select all of these using my selection tool, I can go to the cloth tag and go to the dresser tab, and where it says fix points, I'll hit set. The points will change color, and now when I hit play, you can see that my cloth is unfolding from those fixed points. However, this does not look or behave like a cloth, So we want to change some settings. We'll go to the tag tab and set the flexion to 0, the bounce to 0, friction to, let's say, 30%, and this is looking a little bit better, but we're still not quite there. We're gonna go to the expert tab and tick self collision, and what this will do is make sure that the cloth does not intersect with itself. It's gonna collide if surfaces meet, and that's just a little bit more realistic. We are gonna go to the forces tab and put the global drag to 1%, and we can maybe play around with the wind. The global drag just will either slow it, it'll slow it down. So if I put this to like 50, you will see that the motion is much more restricted. Let's put this at 1%, just a little bit, and I'm going to extend my timeline to be around 6 seconds, and then wind strength, I will have this as maybe 3, and you can see that it's now blowing around. That's probably too much though. Let's go for just 1. These values are very sensitive. I'll choose an X position, wind direction X of 1, wind direction Z 1 also, and Y 1 also. And this is just going to give us some nice continuous movement, so this doesn't just completely stop. But you know, if you want it to completely stop, you just skip this section, don't add any wind. You can also play around with some of these controls, the wind, turbulence, strength, and the speed, and again that will just give you some different animation. Okay, there's a bit of an issue on here. You can see this weird jumpy stuff happening. So you know, this is gonna happen a lot anytime you deal with cloth. You will get some weird things like that happening. So if that does happen, you just want to go into some of your values here and just change them to a different number. So I will put my friction up to, let's say, 60, and that will probably stop that problem. And it's still happening, so maybe I'm gonna go to the iterations and maybe put this up to like 8 or something. And iterations controls the overall stiffness of your cloth. If you right click, you can click show help, and it gives you more information about this particular control. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. I'm happy with this animation. I am gonna go to my plane and add a hypernerbs, because if you look at the beginning here, there's a lot of sharp edges and we don't want that. So if I go to the NURBS icon, I will get hypernerbs and drop our cloth into here. And now we have some nice curved edges, which looks a lot better. And that is the result of the unfold. And you'll notice that it just doesn't fall right away. It kind of stays bunched up. Okay, before I can do any rewinding, I need to cache it. So calculate cache. And now when I hit play, you can see it's a lot more fluid and faster because it's been saved to our memory. And I can now scrub through and then watch exactly how this whole thing unfolds. Right, looking pretty good. One final step is to add a little bit of depth to this mesh. If I go to simulate, I can get cloth NURBS, and drop the hypernerbs into the cloth NURBS. The cloth nibs also adds some subdivision, so we're gonna bring that down to 0. And the thickness is what we're interested in. We'll change this to something like 0.3. So just a little bit, and this was gonna give us just a little bit of depth to this piece of cloth. So this is what it looks like now. This is what it looked like before. And you know, that's it. That is how you create a cloth unroll animation. You can play around with this, you know, see what settings work for you. You could, you know, some applications for this could be, you could simply have your logo here, just a texture will do. Play around with the lighting and so on. Maybe you're trying to make some kind of war banner, like a medieval themed animation with like a crest or logo on here. There's a lot of applications for this, but you know, it's just advice. You can do whatever you want to do.